Welcome to the Croatian Voice, the news program from Toronto, Canada. This is your host, Željko Todorić. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a Croatian immigrant living in Canada. Proud to be a Croatian, proud to be an immigrant, and proud to be a Canadian. Immigrants from all over the world are more welcome now than ever before. Actually, the project of multiculturalism has been Canada's staple for decades. Traditionally, left-leaning parties have been principal benefactors of the immigrant population in the past elections. However, things are gradually changing. In fact, the so-called ethnic vote played a big role in the 2010 Toronto mayoral race. This time, many Toronto Croatians, traditionally supporters of Liberal Party, gave support to the conservative candidate Rob Ford, who eventually won the race. Now we are approaching a federal election. The political campaigns are heating up in Canada. The battle for the ethnic vote is gaining more importance in both camps, liberal and conservative. They are now dancing around immigrant communities more than ever.
The second half of the election campaign kicked off today with all four party leaders heading to Quebec. But as they head back on the road after the debates, both the Tories and the Liberals are hitting a few bumps along the way. They're learning quickly there's a fine line between courting ethnic groups and insulting them.
Judging by the reaction of my fellow Croatians, more Croatian Canadians will vote for Conservatives this year than ever before. Some even signed up to help the Conservative campaign. One of them was Željko Todorić. Željko Todorić was working in the campaign team for Ted Opitz, the Tory candidate in the Toronto riding of Etobicoke Centre, and unexpectedly became a center of attention across Canada a couple of days ago. All Canadian news outlets, radio, TV, newspapers, web media, bloggers, chat rooms, and Twitter postings were discussing his email sent to Canadian Arab Federation. Small demonstrations were even staged in front of a Toronto hotel Thursday evening prior to the arrival of Stephen Harper, the Prime Minister of Canada. All kinds of accusations, even racism, were directed against Tories, who quickly distanced themselves from Todorić.
I just think that's bizarre, and that's not our approach.
Ted Opitz even fired Todorić as a result.
The email was sent by a campaign staffer without my knowledge. I do not support its characterization or intent. Opit's campaign office says the staffer has since been fired.
Frustration has gone viral and tongue-in-cheek. Protesters turned to YouTube and a bit of humor to vent their anger, part of a growing protest over this note.
Additionally, Khaled Muammer, president of the Canadian Arab Federation, maintains that Zidarich's email reminds him of colonizers in Africa. When you bring the chief of the tribes and you take a picture with them, but you are colonizing their country at the same time. It's really shameful, he said. Strong words indeed. Now let's analyze the Zidarich's email, shall we? Here is the full version of the disputed email as posted in various media outlets.
Email request reads as follows. The opportunity is to have up to 20 people in national folklore costumes which represent their ethnic backgrounds. These people will sit in front row behind the PM. Great TV photo op. It then went on to ask, do you have any cultural groups that would like to participate by having someone at the event in an ethnic costume? This message was sent by a conservative staffer working for Tory candidate Ted Opitz, who's running in the Etobicoke Centre riding.
Well, my verdict? I'm sorry, but I really cannot find anything offensive in here. The email is completely innocuous. In fact, if somebody should be offended, that's Željko Todorić himself. He was being used as a scapegoat by the same people he trusted. That is, Ted Opitz and his conservative cohort. Todorić was being used by Canadian Arab Federation as well. They used him to attack the Conservatives for their decision to remove the public funding which was previously allocated to their organization. The attack also signaled their loyalty to the left-leaning politicians. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? Canadian liberals have also used Zidarich's email to score a few points at the expense of Harper's conservatives.
These are not costumes, for heaven's sakes. This isn't Disneyland. Liberal leader Michael Ignatieff went on the attack.
Zidarich was exploited by the Canadian media as well. Here is an example where a non-event was turned into an event. A few innocent email sentences magically transformed into a national drama. With a bit of twisting here and there, the journalists made the story appealing to masses. They branded it provocative by using the adjectives such as controversial, offensive, outrageous. No doubt, they were quite successful in this respect. The story brought out passion in people, mobilized communities, and thrilled not only political pundits, but everyday mortals as well. Of course, people such as Željko Todorić are of no interest to them. Todorić is just a side story, a lowly immigrant of Polish origin, some mistakenly claimed. However, the media people should be thankful to Todorić. he became an accidental instrument of a proxy war which features different armies facing each other on the Canadian battlefield. Angry Arabs versus conservatives, outraged liberals versus hypocritical conservatives, multiculturalism versus nativism, common sense versus stupidity. Khaled Muammer, president of the Canadian Arab Federation, compared the photo op to asking people to come to a Halloween party. However, we Croatians do not share this opinion, and we are immigrants too. As a Croatian, Željko Todorić looked at things from the Croatian perspective. In our Croatian culture, wearing national costumes is a matter of pride. The national costumes are not mass-produced. They are few, usually handmade and very expensive. Also, people do not dress up in ethnic costumes every day. They are worn in special occasions only. If we, Croatians, Serbs, Slovaks, Ukrainians, Germans, or any other community or European background were invited for photo op with the Prime Minister of Canada, no one would be offended. As a matter of fact, we would be very delighted, notwithstanding the fact that we are being used for political gain. Actually, in our Croatian culture, it's quite normal for politicians, religious leaders, sport or TV celebrities to be surrounded by people dressed up in national costumes. Such events usually include folk dances, plenty of food, lots of laughs, and an opportunity for politicians to get promoted. And believe me, no one gets offended. On the contrary, people enjoy being with politicians, and politicians enjoy being with people. In conclusion, the hysteria or much ado about nothing surrounding a well-intentioned email sent to Canadian Arab Federation by Željko Todorić is not just a cultural misunderstanding, it is also another example of political correctness going awry. Looks like one cannot walk down the street in this country without offending someone. So sad for Canada and its future. Thanks for watching. God bless.